Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Moltrap coming at ya. Apparently, some people just really like that. Like I said before, I don't know why I started saying it, but I thought it was kind of silly. But a lot of people like it, so I'll throw it in there. Keep throwing it in there sometimes. Anyway, this is going to be game 2 of the Nate MSL. That's the name of the MSL sponsor. Nate MSL round of 16 set between FlaSh and ZerO. I gotta say right off the bat, obviously if you don't want game 1 spoiled, you're gonna have to leave now. Also, I can't really talk about this game without discussing both their performances in the OSL. Excuse me. Still a little bit sick here. So if you don't want to know what happened in their OSL performances as well, you're going to have to leave now. Okay, anyway, yeah, first of all, get a couple shout-out type things out of the way here. So a little while ago, I did an anti-shout-out where I said, I want to give a shout-out to... And then I didn't say their name. And they knew who they were, but I still didn't say their name, and so it was an anti-shout-out. Well, now I had someone ask me to give them an anti-shout-out. And of course I don't want to just do that because they asked me. So I'm going to give a shout-out to Rain Man, because he does cool stuff, like he always checks FOMOs like right when they release the new Pro League lineups for the next week and stuff like that. So see what I did there? See, I just gave a shout-out to the guy that I gave an anti-shout-out to before. So I gave an anti-shout-out to the guy that wanted a normal anti-shout-out. Yeah! How's that for you? Anyway, okay, also, here's another one. This is going to be great, okay? So, I mentioned before in another commentary as well, by the way. ZerO going for a very quick pool, by the way, in TVZ. Normally going to go for a 12-hatch build, but he's going for, well, I mean, it's not, completely crazy to go for an early pool. I didn't see exactly what pool he did. Probably an overpool is what I'm guessing. Yeah, it looks overpooly. With gas, so he's going to put some early pressure on with speedlings, probably. Or he may be just going for a 2-hatch muta build of some kind, trying to put the pressure on FlaSh that way. FlaSh doing his normal 1-racks in the command center is what it looks like, but he's going to scout this pool coming out, and the late hatch, so he already knows something is probably up, because the hatch is not quite as complete. Anyway, let's see if he puts his command center maybe at his choke point. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so he's going for a very quick lair, so he's going for just a very, very ballsy 2-hatch build here, which we've seen players have success with against. It's been kind of the trend against 1-racks in the command center. Well, not a trend, but it's been popular against 1-racks in the command center because it puts the pressure on and kind of punishes the Terran for going for such a heavily early economic build. Okay, so let's see if I can get this in here. Okay, so before I gave this a shout out to this girl named Woogie, or that's her nickname is Woogie, but apparently that's not how you pronounce her name. But she doesn't even listen to my videos, so I can just link her to a timestamp, and she'll hear as if I'm just giving a shout out at that moment, right? But I want to try a few different pronunciations just in case I get it wrong. So I'll just space them out in the course of the commentary. Okay, so that way, it's about 4 minutes. I'll be able to link to 4 minutes in my commentary, and it'll sound like this. Oh, and by the way, so I do want to give a shout out. I apologize for getting the name wrong before. I want to give a shout out to Woogie. Hopefully I got the name right there. All right, so Woogie, shout out to you. You're awesome and old. All right. So anyways, moving on with the commentary. We do have FlaSh going for a second racks. He's got that command center going up, so he's got a really, really good econ. Anyway, before this gets too far into it, though, I want to mention one more time here. This is shortly after ZerO's OSL matches, and well, I'm just gonna have to say it. Like I said in the beginning, I'm gonna have to spoil it. He lost to Movie, who's not that great of a Protoss player, and ZerO usually good against Protoss, and so ZerO was just crushed. I think he knew that he should have won that game. He lost because kind of an early timing attack hit him and took out his early econ, and he just could not catch up no matter what hijinks he pulled there. So he was just crushed. And this is like the day after yeah, 1 or 2 days after, I think maybe the day after, yeah, that day, and he's playing against FlaSh, and that may have been why he didn't do well against movies, because he's been practicing against FlaSh, because FlaSh is a much harder opponent. Um, excuse me. Um, Sorry about that. I am still a little bit sick. I'm feeling a lot better though. Though I'm feeling a lot better. Which is good. Things generally better in general right now. I got I got the cold going away. I got the day off. Got some games to cast here. Mutalisk's coming out here. Anyway, so yeah, ZerO has got to be feeling the pressure right now. He really, really, really wants to win this. And FlaSh is probably the hardest opponent you could possibly have in any Star League whatsoever. ZerO has been practicing and has actually gotten a Mutazin. This is ridiculous. He's gotten Mutazin before FlaSh has turrets up, which is insane. Normally players like of FlaSh's caliber have their turrets perfectly timed and they have them up and ready to go just before those mutas arrive, and ZerO actually coming in with his mutas a little bit beforehand. He must have had Larva saved up to get several mutas out, and he obviously didn't wait for a full group of 11 or anything like that before going in with these mutas. He's picked off several SCVs, he's picked off a turret while it was building, he's picked off a lot of Marines now. He's maybe only lost one muta so far, so he's actually doing pretty good here. He's doing decent damage, and you can tell he's gone in with an early group of mutas since he does actually have enough mutas in that group to kill off SCVs with one hit. But I think FlaSh may not have had Stim yet. I don't know if he had Stim upgraded yet either. I wasn't paying too much attention to that, but at the end there it looks like he was just normal attack moving, and so it was hard to tell. Comstat's gonna go off and kill the Overlord. Oh, is he gonna run in and suck a hit up? No, Overlord gets out of the way. Anyway, so he's moving in. Whoa, there's 3 turrets now at that natural expansion. ZerO's gonna have to lay off that a little bit until he gets a larger group at least. Looks like he's gonna try and circle out and go for the main. That happens a lot of the time. Sometimes Terran players will leave these gaps in their defenses, and that is actually how on this very map, Hune, who is not that good of a Zerg player, in my opinion at least, Hune managed to beat FlaSh on this map because he found a gap in the turret defenses of FlaSh, and just ran his Mutalisks in and found a perfect location, destroyed all of FlaSh's SCVs at his main, and then the Marines couldn't get back there to attack them either, and so he was able to kill off a lot of Marines as well, and then run his Mutas out, and did a ton of damage. And so if ZerO can accomplish something like that, he could actually theoretically pull out a win against the man who is he's like 9-1 out of his last 10 Zerg. He's actually more like 20-3 out of his last 23 games versus Zerg. He is on a roll with Zerg. Ooh, targeting the medic. Very, very interesting. FlaSh going for a very Marine heavy comp.